You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box. You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box. You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is the Hot Take Hot Box. My name is Matt McSweeney. We got an awful lot to talk about. There is everything happening in the sports world. NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs. The Eagles just released their schedule. So we're going to go and break that schedule down like we do every single year. Give you what we think wins, losses, where are they going to struggle. Hopefully they don't melt down like they did last year. Plenty of Sixers rumors going around. The Phillies are the hottest baseball team on the planet, maybe in the universe. I don't know what else is going on out there. And then we got a little bit of Flyers, a little bit of hope that Matvey. I don't even know if that Matvey. I don't even know if that's how you say it. In Russian, it probably sounds so much better. Michkov. The rumors are he may be coming over this season. We can only hope. I am Matt McSweeney. I am joined by the Ty Capone. Ty, how are you feeling? I know the Eagles' schedule isn't something to really get all jacked up about. But at least it is something to talk about, something to look forward to. With the Phillies kind of just cruising along, we still have another, we're only a third into the season, so we got a while before the playoffs. So that's basically the next thing we're looking forward to is the fall for sports. But how you feeling?
Pretty good. We have a week off, much needed week off from the UFC. We have some Sixers off-season drama. The Phillies are not going to lose. Dodgers are trying to gain ground, but they can't. They can't do it. Only the Yankees. It seems like the Yankees, Phillies, and Dodgers. They lose like once or twice a week, maybe.
Yeah.
So those three teams are just on fire. Phillies are breaking all kinds of records, setting all kinds of history as a team and individually. Ranger Suarez is doing things I can't. The guy's throwing his velocity's dropping, man. It's not mattering.
No,
it's not mattering. It doesn't matter. He's just not getting hit. Like the hard contact is like at an all-time minimum. It's insane. He's winning every game. I know wins losses doesn't matter. The fellow in Boston's like 4-5 with like a 1 ERA. Ranger Suarez is 9-0, so he might never lose a game again. He might start the All-Star game at this rate, maybe win a Cy Young, dude. Who knows what's going to happen? I think they're going to cool off. Obviously, they're not going to be like this all year, but it'll be very interesting to see, honestly, as the season goes, what this team's made of. And I think July, August-ish, after the deadline, if they make any moves, I feel like you can always add guys. So yeah, we got some good boxing. Josh Taylor, Jack Catterall rematch this weekend.
Yeah,
we got a nice 5v5 the following weekend. The Queensberry Matchroom 5 versus 5. Gervonta Davis, we're getting him in June. We're getting Subriel Matias, your boy, in June. Juan Francisco Estrada, Jesse Rodriguez in June. Teofimo's back in June. Shakur in July. I mean, Cody Boots Ennis is in July. Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. You can't wait for that. You're going to be there.
I wish.
Rumor is.
I really would. That's something I would hit just for the spectacle of it. Watch my boy Darren Till get in there.
Darren Till's going to be in there. And then obviously the huge August Terrence Crawford fight card in LA. I was looking at tickets for that once they got made. I was like, I can't be that much. 800 minimum. I was like,
nice.
I'll watch it on TV. That's fine.
Yeah, I got TV.
Yeah, I got a couple TVs. So boxing's looking good. We got a big UFC pay-per-view. We have we'll see how big 303 is, but Conor McGregor is back. We're getting close. We're getting close to
Usman, Kamaru Usman, fuck him, fucking bum.
Topuria, boom.
Hey, let me get a whiff, mate. These guys, they're drinking the stout, and he's just watching Oscar Willis do it. And then he looks at his own. He's like, "Hey, I'll just do a whiff, mate. That'll do." And he's just sniffing the beer, because he can't drink it. I'm like, what a clown this guy is.
So we got about 2 months until that. So
yeah, a little bit
hopefully,
under.
Yeah,
right? It's June 29th, so we're almost at a month now, under a month.
Oh, I'm thinking it's July. It's June 29th. You're right. So we're about 4 or 5 weeks out. Hopefully Connor's in good shape, right? Hopefully.
Appears to be.
The co-main just got made, so that's interesting. And then the rest of the card is, not great, in my opinion. But
we know what we're there for.
Connor's back. It doesn't matter. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a good summer. It's going to be a hot summer. That's for fucking sure.
And I think John Jones is going to be back at some point this summer. I don't know whether it's going to be July or August. Yeah, it's going to be against Stipe. And
that's unfortunate.
Yeah, and I honestly think that fight's gonna surprise. By when the time that they start making their walk, you're gonna be excited for it. I think you're gonna see Stipe. He's probably gonna look like he's on the juice, and you're gonna be like,
Yeah.
"Wow, here we go!" Like, yeah, even though John's probably gonna win, well, by the time it always winds up happening that way, where you're like, "Oh wow, maybe." You start to convince yourself, maybe Stipe can do it, maybe he can't. We'll see, but.
Yeah, I don't know about
Ty, let's get right into the Eagles. We like we said, I had a schedule release. The Eagles, they're already bad things happening. They took a big hit, Ty. Devontae Parker has called it a career. What a tough break for the Eagles here. Are they going to be able to recover from this? Honestly, thank God. I was worried that they were going to have to find somewhere to put this guy, actually play him, pay him, that all with a stunk. He probably came out there for OTAs or a couple of the team workouts and was like, I ain't got it no more, man. I'm fucking cooked. And he decided to just walk away, which there's nothing wrong with that. But thanks for your service, Devontae Parker. You did a good month and a half here in Philadelphia or so. And that's it. So I know you're going to release a whole 30-minute podcast on how you feel about Devontae Parker's Eagles career. For now, Ty, we're going to get right into the Eagles 2024 schedule. 17 games. We are opening up though, Ty. The preseason also, that's a thing. You can get in the door for $38 to watch them play the Minnesota Vikings on August 24th.
Not bad.
Friday, September 6th, Ty, they are opening up in Brazil against the Green Bay Packers. We had talked about this. This was the rumor a long time ago. Friday night game on Peacock. Ty, what is your thoughts on them playing on Friday in general? And then before we get into wins and losses, and we'll go through all these, give our predictions. I honestly have been pretty good at these predictions in the past. Other than, the Super Bowl year, I was all over it. I think I had like 13-4. They went 14-3. So this year we're gonna try and get close again. But Friday, I kind of enjoy a Friday game. With it being on Peacock, it's like, it's going to be on regular television in the local area at least. So in the Philadelphia tri-state area, you'll be able to watch it, I think, on NBC 10. So that's a positive. But what are your thoughts on just a overall Friday night game, 8:15, opening up the NFL season, the second night of the NFL season, I believe?
Well, I'm looking at these tickets, and it's not cheap.
No,
I would say. So I guess that's not happening. I was thinking about maybe you should go there for my birthday for an Eagles game, but I don't know. Maybe I should just come back to the link. Maybe I should just do that.
Probably
maybe I should wait for them
yeah.
to play. I was thinking about going to Cincy for them against the Bengals. That'd be kind of cool. They come here to Tampa. I'll probably go there. LA would be sick. That's also in Peacock. So the schedule, I think I'm fine with Friday, right? I think does the season start that Thursday, right before it's the Ravens Chiefs?
It's, Ravens Chiefs, yes.
That's a banger. Yeah. Eagles Packers the day after on Friday is a banger, and then the Sunday games are going to be good. So I think the Sunday night football game, I forget who it is. I don't know if it's Niners, and it's something good. I've seen just some of the primetime games from this year, and they're loading up the schedule. The NFL schedule makers were in their bag. Who let bro cook? Keep cooking. Stay in there.
Don't let bro out of the kitchen for a long time.
Yeah, lock him in the kitchen forever. I like it. I think our schedule. I don't like the early bye. It's just week 5 bye is brutal. Tough. But and I think the games we play before the bye aren't the hardest. I think Green Bay's gonna be a tough game. They're gonna be a sneaky good team. I think they had a good offseason. Jordan Love's getting better. Falcons after that at home. I think that should be a winnable game. I believe that's on Monday night. So yes. We start Friday night, Monday night, and then we got 2 Sunday 1:00 games. And then we have a bye. Should be able to beat the Saints on the road and the Bucs on the road. I don't care about our curse in Tampa for some reason. We should be able to win that. And then again, I don't love the early season bye, but it is what it is. Cleveland, Giants. I like the Cincinnati game. That's going to be tough. Jacksonville, Dallas, Rams, Baltimore. We have some tough road games for sure at Baltimore, at LA, back-to-back. One on Sunday night, one on Sunday afternoon. The Thursday night game before that against Washington. We're going to lose a division game or two. Obviously, that's always probably going to happen. And Cincinnati on the road is also tough. Obviously, dropping games at home is not out of the realm of possibility. Jacksonville, Cleveland. Oh no, I think the end of our schedule looks pretty good. After the Rams, Baltimore, it gets a little soft. Carolina, Pittsburgh, Washington, Dallas, Giants, and only one of those games is on the road. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I'm not ready to go on I don't know if you're ready to go on a win loss record official
We will
prediction, but
for sure.
I still need to see what we're doing at receiver. I actually have a little bit of a concern there because we don't really have a third receiver. We didn't have one last year, and that was a big issue. Even though we had a couple other issues that were more glaring, I was like, what's going on with the third receiver? And I'm still wondering what's going on with the third receiver. I'm hearing about Paris Campbell, which is that's fine, but that guy's hurt all the time. He's not really somebody you can just trust. We'll see. He's been playing well so far in camp. They just signed John Ross.
Yeah.
Now that guy, I don't even know where he's been for the last 5 years, but at one point he ran a 4.2, so that's cool. We'll see about the rookies. Johnny Wilson's a big dude. Hopefully he can make a splash or something like that. But I do have an issue with that third receiver spot. Other than that, I feel very good about this team going forward. Stay healthy, and I think honestly the secondary looks a little stacked. You don't have really all pros out there, but you have a lot of different looks, a lot of youth besides the two older corners. We'll see if Bradbury sticks once June 1st comes.
Bradbury not at voluntary workouts. I did see that.
Yeah. I have a feeling he'll be cut post June 1st, as long as that makes sense financially. So, and then they have Isaiah Rodgers on the first team. Keely Ringo. This is going to be a big year for him to make a big step up. And who else? We got Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I see people still thinking, we're going to go out and get Justin Simmons. I feel like that ship has probably sailed. I mean, we have Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Reed Blankenship, a couple other guys. Sidney Brown can play all over the field once he comes back from injury. So I don't think Justin Simmons really fits. I mean, maybe he would because Vic Fangio coached him before, but I don't necessarily think there's really a spot for him. Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell are both probably going to play early, especially Cooper DeJean being that versatile. So
yeah.
I don't see that happening. But either way, I see a lot of bodies, a lot of youth, a lot of talent, and it shouldn't be nearly as weak as last year, I would say.
I will say one thing I've heard from training camps, or not training camps, kind of just OTAs, but you're seeing a lot more motion in the Eagles' offense, is what I've been hearing, which we were clamoring for all season last year, which the offense was so kind of just line up and Chip Kelly-ish, where we kind of knew when they lined up. It's crazy, like the Chip Kelly era, you knew when they lined up, like, oh yeah, wow, this is going to be a inside zone to the right side. Okay, this is going to be that stupid play action where they roll out and they have nothing, and then he eventually has to throw it away, or DeMarco Murray just slides instead of getting hit, which I'll never forget that. But I'm looking for a lot more just kind of randomness to the offense, or unpredictability, I guess, would be the more proper word to say. But all in all, I think obviously you're going to get a tougher schedule. You had a pretty good record last year. I think you get that number 2 draw, I think, right? In the whole record thing, or in the draw, or whatever I'm trying to fucking say. I'm going to keep repeating words over and over again. But all in all, I don't think the schedule is that difficult, other than the fact that, like you said, the bye, there's a stretch a little bit in the in the middle of that season, but not even really though. Like nothing can be worse.
Year looked tough.
The stretch they went through last year was so much more difficult, and I don't think this division. I mean, you're going to play a rookie in Washington, which they're going to be better, but I don't know if this is the year that they make those leaps and bounds and they become a team that's really you're going to be terrified and shuddering. I will say
they had a great offseason and a great draft.
They did, but they're putting it all together. Yeah. I'm waiting to see with that. Dallas really did nothing. They brought Zeke back. Yeah, that was it. That was like their big move. And then the Giants, they didn't do shit either. And they lost Saquon. We gained them. Right. So they really are. They
lost McKinney. So those two are their bigger game breakers on offense and defense. Lost them both. So I'm not sure how they replace them. They do have some young talent, but you need a lot more than what they have, in my opinion.
I agree. So, Ty, I think this is time, though. We will go through now each game on the schedule, on the docket, and we will decide whether we think that is a win or a loss for the Eagles Let me make sure I write this down so that we have the official ruling. Eagles 2024.
I wouldn't be surprised also if they made a move, whether they signed somebody who recently got cut or make a minor trade for like a third receiver, if they don't like what they get from the guys that they currently have.
Yeah, like I see the Paris Campbell talk as well, but there's a reason why this guy's kind of been bouncing around. So I'm not going to get too excited about that. John Ross, like you said, he's just basically a sprinter. So I'm not going to get too excited about him as well. They have a couple of rookies who they drafted who I guess are going to get a chance, and Aeneas Smith, who it's gonna, you don't know what you're going to get with them until kind of game time or longer into training camp. I mean, look, we're still in May. It's not really, so we're not going to have a real grasp of what's going on until later on in this off season. So. Ty, Green Bay, in Brazil, Friday night, opening the season off. Do you think they win? Win or loss?
I can see this being a slip-up spot, right? But I'm going to say win. I think we typically play well against the Packers. I really don't know how to factor in the first time ever we're in Brazil. Both teams are, traveling very far. I don't know how that's going to affect either of them. So it's kind of an X factor, I guess, or it's something to, I guess I'm just going to throw it away. Look at the rosters. Look at each coaching staff. Everything that this team is. The only worry I have is just two entirely different offenses and defenses. And I've seen this many times with LSU. This is very different, obviously, pros and college. But anytime LSU has implemented a whole new something, right? Back in the day, they used to never have a good offense, so they would be like, all right, now we have a new and improved offense. Week one, man, it looks like, nobody knows what they're doing because obviously very fresh. The first game, you can only simulate, you can't simulate game action, right? You can do practices, warm-ups, scrimmages, all the things, but getting in there in the first game, it's always tough. And I think that could be, it could happen with us. I think Green Bay kind of retains most of their people, most of their guys. They do have Josh Jacobs. That's a different look. I believe they still have A.J. Dillon and Marshawn Lloyd they drafted. So Luke Musgrave and Tucker Kraft, I like both of those guys at tight end. They have a lot of different receivers. I don't think they have one. They don't really have a one, Actually, they don't have a one. Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs, Jaden Reed, Dontavion Wicks, all pretty decent. Our boy Andre Dillard, I don't know if he's going to be starting over there, but he's going to be battling for a spot on the line. So that's going to be where I think we get them over. It doesn't look like their line's that great. I think we dominate in the trenches. Looking at their defense, not bad. They got McKinney. Their cornerbacks, outside of Jair Alexander, I guess Stokes is pretty decent, but I think we win 30-24.
Damn, you're giving score predictions already. I fucking like it. I'm going to go win as well. I think Sirianni has gotten the boys ready to go for these first games. He kind of builds his whole training camps and try not to reveal stuff the whole time, and the preseason, they basically don't run shit the whole time. They kind of are just, preparing in those practices to get ready for the first game of the season. And, the Atlanta game, that the first year I think he was here, they did great. I don't remember. I'm not having trouble, but I've always felt like they build the whole training camp around getting ready for the regular season and getting ready for that specifically that first game of the year. So I'm going to expect them to be ready to go in Brazil, come out, play well. I think the Eagles' offense is just better than the Packers' defense, and I think the Eagles' defense is going to be much better than we expect, or especially better than they were last year. So I'm going to go Eagles win against Green Bay. And then we come home. They get a little bit of a bigger, longer break than usual. Get a little 10 days in between. Atlanta comes to town at home. You're going to get Kirk Cousins or Michael, don't call me Penis, Penix Jr. We'll see what happens there. It's probably going to be Kirk. I'm just messing around. But
speaking of quarterbacks' penis, did you see the Will Levis video?
No, I did not. So we're going to have to save that for next week.
There's a video circulating around the interwebs of something going on. So
that's not
drop
good.
That in there. It just came across my timeline. Well, it was him and his ex-girlfriend, the one that from the draft. Remember the absolute bombshell, who I believe he's no longer with.
I don't believe
they were doing some things that people do. So
all right,
it could be anything.
They were having sexy time behind closed doors, but of course it camera.
Very nice.
Very nice. All right, Atlanta at home. I am going to go win with this as well. I just don't think Atlanta did enough to make their team better. There's a reason they had the 8th pick last year. I think adding Kirk Cousins is nice. They're going to have a pretty good offense, but they just weren't good enough last year. They have a new head coach. They kind of got a new whole thing trying to figure out what's going on down there. So I'm going to go win as well.
I will say win as well, but I'm definitely interested to see what they do, how they look. Again, early in the year, they're going through a lot of changes. Zach Robinson, the new OC, Jimmy Lake, the DC, coming from Washington, I believe. They added Darnell Mooney and Rondale Moore to go along with Drake London, Kyle Pitts. They drafted Penix. Still don't understand that one, but maybe they get 2 years out of Kirk and get rid of him. Bijan Robinson's a game changer. Their O-line's good. Last year, their defense for most of the year was top 10-ish. I think or top 5-ish, still finished around the top 10. And they added, who they add? Braylon Trice, I like him. Rook Oro, Brandon Dorless, JD Bertrand, some just decent players. It's going to be a close one. I think, honestly, the first 2 games are going to be a little tough just because we're both, we're still easing into the game, easing into the new coaching staffs. But the thing is, the Falcons are as well. They have, like you said, an entire different coaching staff pretty much.
Yep.
A couple additions, a couple tweaks, but it'll be a close one. I think we're going to play a couple close games early on the season for sure, but I think we win that one as well, especially being at home.
So then next we go to the Superdome and we play New Orleans on Sunday afternoon, 1:00 game. I guess I'll let you lead this off since I did the last one.
I don't think. I feel like this might be a slip-up spot. I just don't think they're that good. They did draft Fuaga, so I think their O-line is a little bit better. I'm not a big Derek Carr guy whatsoever. Kamara's is another year older. I think he's going to lose a step. Jamal Williams, meh. Chris Olave's nice. Rashid Shaheed's pretty decent. But after that, they don't really have A.T. Perry and Bub Means battling for that third
Michael
receiver
Thomas
spot.
still there?
I believe he is not.
Where the hell is he?
I believe.
Did he sign? Right? Like I have him in one of my dynasty leagues, and I remember hearing something about him.
I guess he's still a free agent. So
wow, that's
there it is. Yeah. And on defense, I'm looking at their defense, and Lattimore, sure. Matthews getting older. Willie Gay, Demario Davis. Yeah, I don't know. Chase Young. I think he's overrated. I think we beat them, but again, we have to lose one of these early 4 games. Well, I guess we don't have to, but I think if we were, it would be one of the first 2. Despite the one being at home and the one being Brazil. I think we win this game. I don't really like the Saints. I think Dennis Allen's a lame duck head coach. And I just don't, maybe playing in the dome changes things, but I think we should rack up some points on them.
I am with you. I think New Orleans, I've never believed in Derek Carr. I guess not. I shouldn't say never, but this guy has always disappointed me anytime I did believe in him. So there's really no reason. New Orleans has been in cap hell for quite some time. They really didn't get all that much better this offseason. I might take the slant god to come in and run some slants for us on the inside.
Yeah.
If we're really worst games,
him and Paris Campbell.
Yeah, why not? But I'm going to go win here as well. I'm not really all that scared about heading down to New Orleans early on in the season. It's obviously been a tough environment to play in the past, but I just don't. I don't think it's going to be all that much of a factor just because I just don't think New Orleans is really that good. So we're both at 3-0 so far, Ty. It's not a huge shocker here. The early season is not crazy hard. How about Tampa Bay? We're heading to Tampa Bay the next week, but playing 3 NFC South teams to start the season off in the first 4 weeks. How about that? Tampa Bay, Baker Mayfield is back. Pretty much the same team you just lost to by a healthy margin in the playoffs. But obviously, for obvious reasons, we all were non-believers in the Eagles by the time the season had come to an end, and there, for whatever reason that they want to explain or whatever happened, that you knew that they weren't going to win that game. I mean, that would have been my mega whale play of the season was Tampa Bay money line against the Eagles. That they just had no shot to win that game. But I think this will be different, Ty. I'm not. This is the one where I'm worried about because they may be looking forward to the bye, but not really though because it's so early on in the season. And I don't think Tampa Bay's really all that good, but I'm going to go win. But this is the one where I feel a little bit funny about.
Yeah, I think they come in looking for revenge.
Yeah, that's what I'm really thinking. I
don't think the Bucs have really made many many changes. Liam Cohen, the OC, coming from Kentucky, that'll be interesting. They drafted Graham Barton. He's going to probably anchor down that O line. So Tristan Wirfs, Ben Bredesen, Graham Barton. That's a good left side of your line, but the right side's kind of weak. Tight ends iffy. I do like Rashad White, but he's not that great. We shut him down multiple times last year, I believe. Bucky Irving's a good change of pace back, but we'll see Baker, I think, take a step back. He played pretty well last year, all in all.
He did.
I don't think that's permanent. Defensively, Levante David's getting older. They lost Carlton Davis, so now their other cornerback situation's a bit messy. Jamel Dean's hurt a lot, so that's another issue for them at corner. Obviously, Winfield, probably one of the better safeties in the league, just gave him a bunch of money. Their edge rushers, Logan Hall, Kalijah Kancey, Joe Tryon, Choyenka, Yaya Diaby's decent. Chris Braswell they drafted. I don't think they have enough. Vita Vea is pretty good. We'll see. He's going to have to anchor that line, but pretty much by himself. And Tyke Smith, the rookie, might have to start in the secondary. I think we win this game as well. I will be there, and I will make sure we win. That's all I know.
I love that. So Ty's going to come in, put his hard hat on, and get the W for the Eagles. Then they have a bye week right there to start October, like we just talked about. Kind of early. We don't really like this. Not a huge fan about this. You know what's going to suck this year, Ty's having to listen to Tom Brady call football games. So that's going to stink.
We'll see. Hey, he might be good. I liked Greg Olson, and he got demoted, and I was kind of salty about that because I actually liked him. I know a lot of people didn't, but I thought he was pretty decent.
Kind of grew on me as it went on. But I don't know. Tom Brady is really just gonna feel like he's giving me a lesson the whole time, and I don't need that jerk off to give me, knowledge on the game. I don't care how many championships you've won. You still have a claymation looking face, and your wife also left you for a jiu-jitsu instructor, which that's tough. That just happened to Rory McIlroy.
Yeah, it did.
Don't word to the here's your hot take hot box. I'm gonna do it early on when I usually give you a word of advice on the way out for anyone who sits here and listens to the whole thing. Don't let your wife do jujitsu. How about that? No, don't let your wife give any private lessons.
Don't let James McSweeney walk into your crib and take your girl.
You gotta watch out there in these streets. So there's the bye week. Then they come home on October 13th. We get the Cleveland Browns at home, 1:00 game. That's like one of the most expensive games on the docket here. I don't know what's going on there, but
Deshaun Watson tax.
Yeah, of course, Deshaun Watson. Everyone, what a great guy he is. I guess I'll let you lead it. I did the last one, so I'll let you lead this one off.
Well, I guess we got to lose one game, so I'm going to say we lose this game at home and an upset right off the bye. I'm not really sure why. But I just, I think it's a little unreasonable to predict all these wins. But Deshaun Watson, when he's humming, when he's playing well, he's good. He's good. It's just very few in between. And, they got Judy, they got Elijah Moore, Amari Cooper, decent wide receiver core. I think their O-line's pretty solid all across, really. Njoku's solid. I guess Nick Chubb's back, right? I mean, he's that poor guy is always
always banged up or some horrific injury that he's going through.
But they have they got 10 running backs deep, and again, that line's really good. So I don't think it matters much. Ken Dorsey is now their OC. It looks like on defense, man, they made some good moves. Dalvin Tomlinson, Darius Smith, Myles Garrett, of course, is a game breaker over there. Jordan Hicks making his way over there. Him and J.O.K. from Notre Dame, Devin Bush. Their defense is deep, man. Thornhill, they got him now at safety. Newsome, Delpit, Ward. Yeah, I think they have a pretty good defense. They have a game plan on offense. Now, obviously, their offense recently has not been what they want, but all they need is actually wasn't what's his name hurt last year? Wasn't Deshaun Watson hurt most of last year? So
yeah, but
if they can get him healthy
anyway, and then Flacco kind of came in and saved the season last year. Their offense wasn't great, but. And the defense kind of carried them, and Joe Flacco really was able to start slinging that rock around. And this might be a spot where I would probably be with you to pick the L, but coming off that bye and it being at home, 1:00, I refuse to believe the Eagles are going to come out here and lay an egg. So that's a W for me as well.
Big dub.
Then we go to New York. We go up the road to New York, 1:00 game. Saquon returning home to play in front of the Giants faithful. To me, this is also a W. I know you're probably people are like, "Wow, well, this guy's a dickhead. He's just picking all W's." Tune in, stay tuned. I'm not going for the undefeated season, but I don't know. The Giants just really didn't do much this offseason. They still have Daniel Jones as their quarterback. We have had pretty good success, other than pretty much last year of going up there and taking W's from the Giants. So I'm not all that worried about them. I think we will. I think we'll be humming by this part of the season, and I think we're in good shape.
Yeah, I don't think they really made too many great additions or too many big additions. I guess Jordan Phillips, Brian Burns. They pretty much swapped Burns for who did they lose? Was it Taylor or Dexter Lawrence? Right? Or no, not Dexter Lawrence. Somebody on defense they lost.
No, it might have been Dexter Lawrence. I'm not sure though.
No, they still have Dexter Lawrence. It was the other Leonard Williams, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah. So swapping him out for Brian Burns. Thibodeau is still there. Jordan Phillips and Dexter Lawrence. Their D line looks pretty good. I still have questions about their back seven, especially in the secondary. They're very young. Deontay Banks, Drew Phillips, Tyler Nubin, very very young. Jalen Mills. Hopefully he can get in some starts, some games for them. I would love to see that. And on offense, it's pretty much Malik Neighbors, and that might be it. Devin Singletary's a solid running back, but I don't know if he can really replicate what he did last year on this team. Darren Waller's back on the sauce apparently. Kelsey Plum's out here, living her best life. So their O-line looks like it's gotten a little bit better, but still not sure. Just not sure what we have with Evan Neal and Andrew Thomas. So Malik Neighbors again, he's gonna get his, but we'll see what Daniel Jones has. That's a win.
All right, so then we head to Cincinnati. Week 8 now, a 4:25 game on the road, 2 back-to-back road weeks. Ty, this is where I give my first L. I just think that the Bengals are a team that's kind of been there, done that. It's not going to be, this isn't a lock for me that they lose. Like they could easily go in there and beat a Cincinnati, get to the quarterback. But at some point I have to give an L somewhere, and this just seems like a perfect spot for one. So Eagles lose this one.
Yeah, being on the road is going to be tough. 4:25 game. If this is a game I do go to, we're obviously going to lose.
Yeah.
So you got to factor that in. We'll see. I think Higgins is probably gone.
That would factor August in a little bit for me if he actually isn't playing. So
yeah, I think they're probably going to get rid of him in August, is what it sounds like, because he's not coming back. That's for sure. They still have to give Chase money, and that's going to be a lot of money. So I think we're going to take advantage of that O-line possibly, but they did add Trent Brown. I think they might have signed Orlando Brown as well. So the 2 Browns on the tackle, they drafted Marius Mims. I think they're getting better at least. It's just gonna be tough, man. Joe Burrow can just win games by himself, and I think their defense is solid. Geno Stone, they got him, somebody I kind of wanted at safety. Trey Hendrickson, they still have him. Sheldon Rankins brought him over from Houston. That's a huge move because I think they lost DJ Reader. I think that's who they lost. Yeah, so. They swapped him out, drafted Chris Jenkins. He's pretty good, too. They have some young talent on defense. Chase Brown, Sidney's brother, so you get a brotherly matchup. And, I'm with you. I think we lose this one. So I think I got us going 4-2 now, I think, is how I got.
So you are at 5-2.
5-2.
5-2.
Still looking good.
I'm now when you explained T. Higgins, I forgot about T. Higgins. Maybe might be out the door. So I'm a little worried about my pick there. But I got to roll with a loss somewhere. That's the spot I'm picking. How about this? Then the next week we head home Sunday night. One of our second, well, I guess technically our third primetime game of the season. Sunday night against Jacksonville. Doug Peterson coming back, to the place where he changed the culture here, Ty. I don't think he was really the one, but he was a part of it. He won the Super Bowl. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it, Nick. Let's run the Philly special. I'm going to go win here. I don't think I really have never been a Jacksonville guy, and watching them blow playoff games and just blowing everything. Blowing everybody.
I
don't believe in Jacksonville whatsoever, so I am going to roll with the Eagles taking the W here.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it could be a sneaky one. Again, coming off of that bye, and they did add a little bit in the offseason, but I don't even really think. I just think they have a lot of underwhelming talent, I guess, or wasted potential. Cam Robinson, Trevor Lawrence, I still like him. I know he gets a lot of hate, but he's still definitely not what he was supposed to be. Trayvon Walker, a bit of a disappointing top pick. Josh Allen's Lloyd, disappointing top pick. They have Ronald Darby out there starting at corner probably still. That's not good. Tyson Campbell, Andre Sisco, Darnell Savage, good young players in the secondary. I just think they don't have enough. I could see maybe Brian Thomas, Gabe Davis, Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, that group giving us problems maybe.
Yeah.
It seems like Gabe Davis only plays well against the Eagles, it seems like. So I think we win this one, move to 6-2, but you never know. I mean, Doug Peterson could also Press Taylor is the OC, so a couple of guys coming back to give us hell maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even more reason to write the W down in this column. Then we head to Dallas the next week. Good to kind of get this one out of the way. Sunday, kind of a 4:25 game, which to me, Ty, is like my favorite time for the Eagles to play. Is that 4:25
yeah, nothing else
game.
Really going on.
Yeah, it's like the spotlight's on them. I mean, even the nighttime games are fine, but I don't know. There's just something about then it's out of the way. You're done at 7:25. You can watch the 8:00 game if you want, if you got fantasy implications or whatever, but. You know, it's sometimes just nice to have that, like, especially when it's on, like, Fox or even CBS. You'll probably have Tony Romo going, I don't know, Jim, you know, and and especially with us playing the Cowboys, it's always a big-time game. Again, I just think Dallas is going to be – I don't think Dallas is going to have a good year at all. They're like, one step away from a rebuild. That game, when they got blown out by Green Bay at home last year, really kind of broke their brains. And I think it's going to be tough for them to kind of bounce back from that. And to be that team that they, I mean, obviously they still have success against the Eagles, and we've had big time troubles going down there to Dallas and taking them out. But Ty, tell me why the Eagles should lose this game. I don't know. Like, I don't think that this is a loss at all.
No, I don't think it should be, but I think it will be.
Okay.
I think we're gonna lose to Dallas at some point, or the Giants, or the Commanders. We just have to. I guess we don't have to, but we kind of do have to. It happens all the time. They have like pretty much the same team back, like pretty much all in all. Now, I don't think that's that great, but there is at least continuity. Bringing Zeke back will help, I guess. Because I think what's his name go? Where did Pollard go? Was it Tennessee?
I believe everybody
replaced Henry, right?
Anybody who is not worth the money that they got paid went to Tennessee.
So there you go. I think we're going to lose that. I think we're going to move to 6-3. I think it's going to be a tough game, just because of the divisional aspect, and it's on the road, and as you said, a primetime game, right?
Yeah.
No, it's 4:25.
No, it's 4:25.
So yeah, I feel like we don't play Dallas in the afternoon ever. I feel like it's always at night. But either way, I think they're going to win that one.
Yeah, no primetime Dallas game this year. It's the first time in a little bit that's been the case. Last couple of years have always been. Year before it was on Christmas Eve, I think. Last year it was the random Sunday night in December, I believe, because I was down in South Carolina watching that game, watching them get clapped by the Cowboys. That was a rough night.
That was fun.
Yeah, I did not have fun. I will say that I did not have fun that night. But I don't know. I'm thinking that the Eagles find a way to win this game, and then Thursday night against Washington at home. On Prime Video. I know you'll be tuned in, watching on Twitch or something along those lines.
I got Prime.
You do? I think I do too as well. Ty, I think this might be a loss. This one is the one on a short week. You know, you fly home from Dallas. They should win this game. But who does Washington? I guess that's what I should look at. Who Washington plays coming off of that game to head to Philly. They play Pittsburgh at home. And then they come up to Dallas. I don't know. I like you said, you just gotta kind of find losses to put on these things at this point. And I really don't want to though, so I'm not going to. I think they win this game. I just don't think Washington's really that good. So I don't see why they would win this game.
Either way.
Yeah,
I think they lose one of these two games to Dallas or Washington. I think we can agree on that. They did a lot in the offseason. They have a new GM, Adam Peters. I don't know where he came from. I think Chicago. And then I thought he was with us originally, but I could be wrong. Cliff Kingsbury's their new OC. Dan Quinn's their new head coach. I don't even know why. I think they just ran out of options. Like, all right, I guess we'll hire Dan Quinn. Offensively, I don't know about their line, but they signed Biadaj from Dallas, Alec Reddy from Kansas City, Andrew Wiley also. They have just a brand new team in general. Zach Ertz and Ben Sinnott are going to be their tight ends. Austin Eckler, him and Many Men at running back.
Yep.
Brought in little Luke McCaffrey. I think the receivers are decent. I don't love McLaurin, but he seems to play well against us. Him or Dotson,
Always.
one of them. And then on defense is really where they made a lot of changes. Dorrance Armstrong from Dallas. They took a lot of guys from Dallas, it seems like. Cleveland Farrell, Frankie Louvu, and Bobby Wagner. I wanted one of those for linebacker for us. They got both. And then they brought in Jeremy Chin and Michael Davis. So drafted Mike Sanderstill. Emmanuel Forbes is the guy who I believe was getting absolutely shelled by A.J. Brown last year. Him and I think maybe St. Juice. But yeah, I think they win this. Also brought in – they got a new kicker as well, I think, Brandon McManus. So they just retooled their entire roster. I think it's going to work for them eventually in the long run. It seems like Adam Peters knows what he's doing. They had a great draft and a great offseason. However, I think, like you said earlier, it's a little too soon. I think Jaden Daniels they also have Mariota. I think Jaden Daniels – it's going to be tough. I think Thursday night game, I think we're gonna get to him and get to him a lot.
Yeah, almost any other team I probably would be chalking the L up here. With it being at home and against a rookie quarterback who also is going to have a short week. I don't, maybe they go with Brissett. I don't know. I imagine it's going to be Jaden Daniels being the starting quarterback when you pick him that high. Yeah, I'll just go W. I can't do it. So let's go win. How about Sunday night, November 24th at the Los Angeles Rams? 8:20 NBC primetime game. Ty, I am going to go W here. Eagles are going to have an extended period of time to get ready for this game. LA is good, but they are not the LA that won the Super Bowl a couple of years ago, and they are scary, but I think we are going to be able to find a way to win this game and get it done.
Yeah, I agree. I guess, going across the country, it's always tough, but you kind of look at their offense, you kind of look at their team. Not much has changed. I did love Darius Williams. That's a guy I really wanted. They got Tre'Davious White, but he's passed a little bit. Cam Curl. I think Cam Curl was also the guy getting fried last year on Washington. They got him at safety. I just don't know about their defense without Aaron Donald in there. I don't really know who's going to be leading that defense. Honestly, look at Ernest Jones. He's really good at linebacker, but and then on offense, just some of the same. Really, Kyron Williams is already having foot problems that he had last year. So he's going to be out for OTAs and a little bit of camp. They drafted Blake Corum. We'll see if he's ready for the NFL. He's a little undersized. Stetson Bennett, the backup to Stafford, he was on the sauce last year. I think this is another year where Stafford takes a step down. And I think Higbee's getting older. I think the receivers are, Cooper Kupp's getting older. He's slowing down a little bit.
Puka
Nacua.
Tired, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, they got a couple guys on the line that they signed, Dotson and Jonah Jackson. I don't think their O-line is that good. I think we win for sure.
Yeah, I feel good about that one, especially with the 10 days off. It's just that seems like a W to me. How about this? The next week, Sunday afternoon game in Baltimore, 4:25 on CBS. Ty, I will lead this one off. This one is relatively easy for me. I think this is an L. I think the back-to-back weeks on the road, flying back from Los Angeles, just kind of a part in the schedule where, it's a little bit of it's just a tough kind of draw with the travel, in my opinion. And I think they could easily beat Baltimore in in theory on a 1v1 kind of, what I mean? Like, if all things are even, then yeah, we could easily beat Baltimore. That's what I think. But Baltimore also is traveling across, but they're going to be at home.
They're in LA also.
Yeah, they're going to be at home, though, so I'm going to count on that being the difference. And I think I'm going to go with a W for the Ravens and L for the Eagles.
Yeah, I'm going to go with you. I think we just have to drop some games. This can be tough against Lamar. It's always just that quarterback that can give you problems. You always got to worry about that. That's like what I was talking about with Cincinnati earlier. I think we're probably better, but Joe Burrow can win a game. So can Lamar. And then I have Derrick Henry. That could be very dangerous because they also have still a couple other guys that they can mix in. Zay Flowers, Bateman. Of course, your boy Aguilar.
Wow.
Devontae Walker,
Yeah.
I like Tez Walker a lot. Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely, they can run 2 tight end sets. Even Charlie Kolar, the third tight end, they liked him a lot. So I think that there's a lot of different looks they can give you on offense. Todd Monken's very good. Looking at the defense, love Kyle Hamilton, who I should be on the Eagles in my opinion. Signed Marcus Williams, Nate Wiggins, they drafted. Roquan Smith.
Lost Patrick Queen.
I guess they lost Patrick Queen, but he really only played well when Roquan Smith got there. So, yeah, I all in all, I think they just have a good talent team, really, and they have some good depth too. Yeah, I think they win this game, but both coming back from LA, it's gonna be definitely something to watch for.
Yeah, I just think it's kind of like it's going to be an ugly game. And if I had to guess that the uglier the game, it probably would be better for Baltimore than us. I don't know. I just think, like you said, I just kind of the fan in me just wants to put W's next to all of these. So I just have to find losses in here somewhere. But the more we've gone through this, Ty, I feel good about the Eagles this year because this schedule is really not all that bad. I mean, now we come back home against Carolina, who was really bad last year. And I don't think they're going to be that good this year. So, Bryce Young, it's kind of still up in the air of what kind of player he's going to become. I think he'll be much better this season than he was last year, obviously. But really, their offense, like what do they really have that's going to wow you or scare you? And even on defense, they're really, Brian Burns is gone now, isn't he? So, like,
yeah, Clowney.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. And he's 100 years old. So, I'm going to go Eagles W here.
Yeah, I think we should win too. I mean, they had some guys on offense that kind of helped Bryce Young with. They drafted Jonathan Brooks, they drafted Jatavion Sanders, signed Deontay Johnson, drafted Xavier Leggett.
Yeah, that's my
Still
boy,
think it's
dude.
enough. I love him, dude. The way he talks. Oh, man, I love that. I can't even do it. Just the deep South Carolina accent. I love it. He said, "I just wish he would keep talking."
I love him.
They signed a couple guys in the O-line. They gave Robert Hunt a fucking stupid contract, one of the biggest contracts at guard. I think they also gave Damian Lewis, the other guard, a lot of money from Seattle. Shout out to LSU. And they're going to be improved for sure. I mean, they really hung Bryce Young out to dry last year. And, Andy Dalton's a pretty good backup for him. I forgot they had Miles Sanders. That's like their running back 3, which is, what a fall from grace. And, yeah, again, I like some of their talent. I like some of the additions on defense. But look at their secondary. I think we should have our way.
Yeah, I'm not really worried about them. They're in that like Washington area for me where it's like they're not ready. I'm not ready to take them seriously at all. How about this then? Another home game. Pittsburgh comes to town. A 4:25 game. For me, Ty, Pittsburgh always presents a little bit of a problem, especially later on in the year. They start to get better as the season goes along. But who's playing quarterback for them? Is it going to be Russell Wilson? Is it going to be Justin Fields? Their offense still has some weapons, but they also just traded Deontay Johnson, right? I don't remember who.
Yeah, he was Carolina.
Oh wow, there you go. Well, add that to the list of reasons that Carolina's going to beat us. No, I'm just kidding. But the Pittsburgh, I've never really been I haven't been worried about Pittsburgh in quite some time. So I don't think that this is the year that I'm going to be shuddering in my boots waiting for Pittsburgh to come to town and take us out. I'm going to go another W here.
I'm going to go W as well. You never know with TJ Watt. They also have Cam Hayward. They signed Roquan or Pat Queen, I believe. They still have Minka. I still can't get over what AJ Brown did to Minka Fitzpatrick, and I forget who the other corner was, but
I was right
Joey
there
Porter,
in that end zone when that happened.
Nasty. Cameron Johnson too, former Eagle, I believe, at punter. So
nice.
Yeah, I mean they're decent, but again, what do they have on offense? Their running back situation's mid. The receiver situation is Pickens, Van Jefferson, Roman Wilson, mid. Their O-line looks pretty good. Their D-line looks pretty good. That's about it. Yeah, I got to win.
All right, so I'm struggling with this as well. Now we have 3 division games to end the season. Sunday, December 22nd, on the road against Washington. I don't know. Obviously, you don't know what the division is going to be like or what the deal is going to be. I am going to write down an L here next to this Washington game. I think that, like you said, I think at some point they're going to have to lose a game that they're not supposed to lose. And I think this is the spot where, the end of the season, Washington's kind of just going to shock them where they're not really ready to go. Washington's maybe, I don't know, 5-11 or something like that, and you kind of just get snuck up on in the, I don't know. I really, but Washington's defense was bad last year. Maybe it's going to be better this year. I know that you made mention of some of the things they added. I have a tough time really writing this down, but I'm going to L against Washington.
All right, yeah. I mean, ending the season with 3 division games. Obviously, you have to assume there's going to be something, right?
Yeah.
The Giants game they could move to Saturday. I mean, I guess that's something to watch, but I think they beat Washington in this one. I mean, they're probably both going to be close games. Drake May, dotted us up twice last year, and that guy lost his job. So, yeah, I think we win this one.
Then we host Dallas the next week, 4:25 game. I imagine this is going to have a lot of playoff implications, or maybe it won't. Maybe Dallas will just be ass, but I think it's going to matter to one of us. So I'm going to go Eagles win against Dallas at home and kind of secure the division if it's not already secured by now.
I agree. I think usually late in the season when Dallas gets us, I think maybe they get us early in the season, but I think this is we definitely beat them at home, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't have faith in Dallas this year like I did in those past years. And then this game against the Giants, Sunday, January 5th, I have them right now at 3 losses. This will be a loss if we have it locked up. And the division's locked up. We sit everyone, and it's just kind of one of them kind of scheduled losses where we're resting everybody for the playoffs. That's what I'm going to write down an L here as well, and just know that's why though. That's I think that they're going to have this division locked up by then.
I think they lose. I think they probably lose too, just because. Why not? Right? One of these games they're going to lose, and like you said, if the season's pretty much over, why start it? Why play anybody in this last week?
Yep. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you'll have 12 and 5. I believe I have them at 1, 2, 3. So 13 and 4. It's kind of my usual go-to number that I keep them at. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Full breakdown of the Eagles schedule.
11 to 14 is 14 being a little bit optimistic, but I think 11, 12, 13 is what we should be sitting at.
Yeah, and we really shouldn't even feel this confident about a team that really let us down the stretch, but it's the Eagles fan in me. I don't know. They did a good job this offseason of really making me forget about all the anger that I had at the end of the year and saying I'd never root for them again if they had Sirianni as the head coach. But then they went out and got exactly the coordinators that I wanted. So I was like, all right, fine. You got me for another year, whatever. You got Saquon. I'm like, yep, all right. Whatever you guys need. Signed everybody that I could have possibly wanted pretty much and drafted all the guys that I wanted. So really, I don't know where I could sit here and be angry about it. So 12 and 5, 13 and 4. I think that's a fucking pretty good season, Ty, if all things shake out that way. Before we get out of here, I just want to talk a couple other things. First, I think we should talk about the Phillies. I was going to go Sixers, but I think we'd go Phillies first. Phillies just completed a sweep of the Texas Rangers. As we record this podcast, the Phillies just continue to dominate, Ty. Obviously, I think we've been a part of some pretty good and special seasons. I'm old enough to remember when I almost called them the Eagles, but the Phillies won 102 games, and then lost in the first round, I believe, against the Cardinals. They had one of the best pitching staffs that I've ever seen and probably ever will see. Halladay, Hamels, Lee, Oswalt. I mean, that's a crazy ass rotation that they had, and then it wound up not mattering because they get shut down by Chris Carpenter in St. Louis, or at home against St. Louis, and losing some game. Cliff Lee. All right, we're not going to go back there, but I'm just saying, seen some incredible things in my day from my Philadelphia Phillies. They're now 37 and 14, Ty. I guess for you, from like an outsider standpoint, what has it been like to see you go look at every game, you're like, God damn, they won again. God damn, they won again. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like they just are rolling to a level that is kind of just where if it was happening to another team, I'd be like, oh shit, how the fuck are we gonna like the Phillies are for real this year? But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean, they're getting pretty much they're getting a little bit from everybody. It seems like the pitching's been great, right? This at least right now on paper looks like one of the best rotations in baseball. Suarez, Wheeler, not even to mention Nola, but Christopher Sanchez has been pitching well.
Yeah.
Matt Strom out of the bullpen, that guy's been elite. He can't be touched. Jeff Hoffman, Spencer Turnbull, even Alvarado has been pretty good. Kirkering's nice. It seems like they're getting a lot from just everybody. And then when you look at their lineup, Alec Baum's having a great season. Bryce Harper's having a good season. Bryson Stott's starting to hit. Trey Turner, when he was playing well. JT's starting to hit a little bit now. Brandon Marsh, he's not only playing well, he's not only hitting well. I think he has, I forget which stat I saw. He has like 7 defensive runs saved. He's having a good defensive season. Edmundo Sosa, this guy's, he strikes out a lot, but he's coming through with some hits. Cody Clemens is a good bat off the bench.
Yep.
Schwarber's, he's still hitting some homers, driving in some runs, but he is what he is. I think at this point, you got to kind of take what he is.
I mean, he was hitting 180 at one point, like for a good stretch last year. He's at the 223. I'll take that.
They don't have as many automatic outs as I thought they had, or it just seems like everybody's kind of stepping up a little bit. Castellanos hit a home run today, right? So
yes,
he's starting to play a little bit better. Whit Merrifield, I mean, you got to take what you can get from that guy. He's just old. At least he doesn't strike out much, so you got to have some vet presence in the lineup. But yeah, I mean, all in all, 1-25, 1-26, I guess it is. They're playing awesome. I don't know how good or bad the manager is, but I don't think it matters right now. Obviously, they're smoking everybody. I mean, the Rangers come to town. These guys won the World Series last year, and they lose today 5-2. Yesterday they got smoked 11-4. Before that they lost 5-2. So go for the sweep. Phillies haven't lost a series in what, like 15 series or something, dating back to last year, maybe?
Nah, they definitely lost some early in the season. Yeah, they lost to the Braves. I know that. And then they lost to somebody after the Reds or something. And I think since then they haven't, like, it's the beginning of April. They have been absolutely tearing it up. So I think since I tweeted that the Phillies are going to be unwatchable for the beginning of the season, they have been extremely watchable and must-see TV ever since I tweeted that out. So it's good to – I mean, it's been remarkable what the starting rotation has done to start this season. Now, you got Suarez. You really can't talk enough about it. You made mention of it where, like, this guy's really not even throwing. Like, he's not blowing the ball by people at 99. He's throwing, like low 90s, but he's just a pitcher's pitcher. He is just beating people with this stuff and just – pinpoint accuracy and throwing the ball exactly where he wants to be and just kind of just beating guys. And 1.36 ERA, 9-0. That's Cy Young right now, if you ask me. You got Zach Wheeler, who just is a robot, who's a baseball robot, 6-3, 2.53 ERA. Nola on any other team would be having an incredible year at 6-2 with a 3.05 ERA. Sanchez, again, another guy like you made mention of. Some of these bullpen guys have been lighting it up, having a great season so far. Like you said, Strom, a .87 ERA. Hoffman, 1.25. Alvarado's been shaky at times, but when he's on, he is on. Even not Giovanni. I always call him Giovanni Soto. Gregory Soto. He's got a 6 ERA, but he's a guy when he comes in, he's just got nasty stuff. Kirkering is coming back from the flu, 1.84. Junior Marte, who haven't seen much of him, but he's still got a 2.70 ERA. Man, the Phillies have been on fire. It's really I see people online that try to complain about stuff, and people get mad at each other for complaining about this or that. There's really nothing to complain about. It's just the only thing that sucks about being this good and being in the playoffs every year is that it kind of. Part of you is just like, well, let's see them do it in the playoffs. That's what kind of the Sixers seasons have turned into. When you try to enjoy a Sixers season, you go, yeah, it's fun. I'm having a great time, but let's see them do it in the playoffs. You can't. You cannot live your life like that. And I've done it.
No.
It's hard not to. It really is. When you become so jaded and your teams melt down and you get your heart broken so many times. You're like, yeah, but the old man starts to come out of you when you talk to your dad, and it's like, yeah, but what the fuck are they gonna do in the playoffs? It's like, all right, relax. I don't know why my dad just became Italian, but at the end of the day, you have to enjoy the ride. That's really what. When you remember back in the 2007 to 11, those rides through the summer were incredible. The Phillies really are the only staple that you have during the summer. There's nothing like, even baseball, for whatever baseball team you do root for, a Saturday night or maybe a Wednesday night, you're not really doing anything. You could, if you really wanted to, go out with the boys. Just for 6 o'clock, after work, whatever. If you work a 9 to 5, you go out, have a beer. Let's go watch the Phils. Each night you might see something awesome that you'll never forget. Like they have just been, they always are there in the summer. They're rarely off. There's always a game. There's always something to look forward to. There's always something to talk about. And especially since the Phillies have gotten Bryce Harper, it's just been like every year has been a fucking roller coaster. It's been fun. I will never forget where I was when he hit that home run against the Cubs. That was one of the greatest moments of my life. But it's just been this season alone has been an incredible ride so far. Watching all of these guys play at such a high level, I was worried about them keeping this team together, thinking that things were going to get stale. And after they kind of really just melted down at the end of last year against the Diamondbacks, that maybe they were going to come out, and especially if they came out like they've done the last 2 years before that. And really, 25 and 30, through 55 games, just ugly baseball to start the season. It has not been like that at all. They have really just lit it up. And now I think they are going to be 7 games up, 6.5 games up on the Atlanta Braves, which if you would have told me that, I would have told you that you're absolutely insane. The Atlanta Braves have lost some bad games this season. They have melted down. Losing to the Cubs. I think they just lost the series, they did. They won the series against the Cubs, but they did lose the series against the Padres. Now they're going to head to Pittsburgh. The Phillies are going to head out to Colorado, which that shouldn't be much of a problem because, it's easy to hit the ball out in Colorado, in comparison to anywhere else with that nice thin air. So we're going to go out west for a little bit, but then
we're
you
gonna have fun out there.
Yeah, you got San Fran, 25 and 26. It's not exactly a juggernaut of a team. That's been the negative that I see a lot of anti-Phillies fans or Braves fans saying that. Well, they're not that. They haven't played anyone. They're look at their strength of schedule. They haven't beat any winning teams. Like, who cares, bro? It's fucking 162 games. They're gonna play good teams. It doesn't matter. And again, I will always say this. How many years have you watched the Phillies and you've seen them lose when playoffs were on the line? They're losing to teams like the Pirates and things like that, and you're like, "What? How could this happen? How could they lose the teams that they're supposed to beat?" Now they're beating the teams that they're supposed to beat, and it's a problem. That's just hater shit. So I'm not going to get too worked up or get too animated about any of that nonsense. The Phillies are rolling along. If anything, you're going to see some sort of addition at some point. Maybe towards the deadline. It's not going to be a necessity like it may have been in the past. Hopefully they stay healthy. That'll probably dictate a lot of what they decide to do. Maybe I think a bullpen guy would probably be on the docket, as well as maybe an outfielder who can bring a little bit of a bat. You're not getting what you exactly would want from Rojas. He's not having a great statistical hitting season. I mean, he's only hitting 219. It's not horrible, and you're not exactly counting on a lot from him, but why wouldn't you be, looking to try and get maybe something more out of that position? And Pache's not great either. 225. Well, he hasn't played a ton, so it's not something to really get worked up at. Cody Clemens has been great. You made mention of him. But, yeah, maybe like a center fielder or some sort of outfielder that could play, every day. Maybe if they were going to go out and make a big move, that would be something that they would do. Maybe, and if not, if they keep it minor, then maybe just kind of a bench kind of outfielder, preferably a left-hander, or maybe a right. I don't know. I don't think it would. I mean, they have plenty of right-handed bats, so I think maybe a lefty that could kind of play in the outfield. I don't know. Maybe a right. I guess it would probably be right-hander because you have Rojas and Pache, and you don't believe in them pretty much. So that's that. You know, and you got Whit Merrifield, who's really just been bad, really bad.
Yeah.
So that's probably the only negative that you could say about the Phillies so far. Garrett Stubbs hitting 103, but he is a backup catcher, so really, who cares? But other than that, Ty, how are your Dodgers doing? I'd like to give you a little bit of time to discuss your beloved Dodgers. 33-19.
Yeah, no, they're doing good, but the last couple of weeks, I think I want to say honestly,
a couple rough games here against the Diamondbacks.
Just a little bit of May in general. Freddie Freeman, lowest OPS since 2012.
Ooh.
Will Smith's hit 189 since May 3rd. Max Muncy 150 over the last 16 games. Teoscar since May 9th has not been good. Andy Pajes, my boy, a 12 WRC. League average is 100 since May 5th. Kike Hernandez is at 74. Lux at 63. Outman 56. Hayward 37. They're struggling. The lineup is struggling bad. I mean, they're getting good pitching. Tyler Glasnow has been one of the best pitchers in baseball. Yoshi Yamamoto has been very good. Bobby Miller is hurt, but he's coming back soon. Walker Buehler, since he's come back, has looked good. The bullpen's been pretty solid despite their closer being hurt. They got like Daniel Hudson, Blake Trinan, Evan Phillips. They got a bunch of guys that are pitching well. I mean, their roster in general is loaded. But the bats aren't hitting. Other than Shohei Ohtani and Mookie Betts, nobody's really hitting. So that sucks. When Ohtani takes less money, in theory, to help the team, and you get no help from the bats, you're like, what's going on? So that's an issue. We need a shortstop because Mookie can't play shortstop year round. He's trying. He's doing his best, but it's been a struggle. So I think the bats will wake up. Obviously, they have too much talent for it to not happen. But right now, it's a struggle. The bats are sleeping, deep hibernation.
It's baseball. I wouldn't be surprised if that kind of was happening with the Phillies early in the season. And I'm not expecting them to keep up this for the next 100 and some games. To keep just rolling and hitting the shit out of the ball. You're going to go through lulls. Yep. It's all about whether they show up for the playoffs, especially the Dodgers.
That's really all that matters.
Because the Dodgers have been a juggernaut for the last few years, and then the playoffs roll around, and some Padres team or somebody like that just comes in and picks them off and takes them out.
Yeah, usually one guy will have 4 home runs in 3 games. We're like, who's this guy? Oh, he just got called off from AAA. Okay, that's cool.
Great. That's fucking awesome. And the NL Central continues to be a complete dumpster fire, so that's awesome for the National League. So there you go. That's your baseball roundup. NBA, not really an NBA breakdown, but kind of just a Sixers rumors segment that I wanted to discuss some of the teams that are going to be, or some of the things that we're hearing right now. You see, the Sixers are going to be interested in OG Anunoby. How do you feel about this, Ty? The report is, as previously reported, members of the Sixers have seen Anunoby as an offseason target. Paul George is also a target for Philadelphia. We keep getting that name popping up, which obviously we can't be surprised by that. But if the Sixers can't get George, I could see them making a big offer to Anunoby, if for no other reason than it would force New York to match the money. That is Ian Begley from SNY Knicks. So there you go. What do you think about that? Do you care at all? Is Anunoby somebody that you would? I don't know if that's something. Having seen him play in that series, and I maybe I would want him, but I don't know. For the price, I probably would say no.
The price is going to be a lot. I mean, no matter who you look at, like Malik Monk, I see Sixers fans talking about Malik Monk. He's going to get like 25, 30 a year.
Yeah, that's insane. No, thank you.
That's just so many Sixers fans keep telling me, like, no, we don't need to go get Paul George or Jimmy Butler or this guy or LeBron, or we need to just get role players, good role players around Embiid and Maxey. And maybe that's true, but that's like very impossible to do. You can't just go get role players.
They're
good role players are on teams that don't want to trade them.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, we can't just go out. Somebody on Facebook said, yeah, let's just sign Malik Monk, bring back Oubre, trade for Laurie Markkinen. And I'm like, bro, this is not 2K. Yeah, you can't just do all this. We don't have that much to trade, and whatever we have a couple first-round picks that are average. You want to trade 4 first-round picks for Laurie Markkinen? His deal expires next year, and then we're going to have to give him like $40 million a year.
Yeah.
And then we have to give Maxey the max. and then we're going to give Malik Monk 30 million or 25 million a year. Like that's not even possible. I know we have a lot of cap space, but we can't just go get role players. Role players are not hot commodities. Teams lock those motherfuckers down. Jaden McDaniels is like the super role player for the Timberwolves. They're going to give him like 30 a year. You know what I mean? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is due for the Supermax. Though I think the 2031 season, he's due to get $81 million. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane. So we I don't know. We don't really have options. I would try to get OG Anunoby. He's a good role player, and you're going to have to give him a lot of money, but role players don't make $10 million anymore. They make 20, 30. So, and we don't have any. We can't build our own. We can't develop our own, so we might as well sign them.
It seems like the Paul George thing is the only real thing that's continually being peddled as a realistic option. I think that's going to just come down to whether Paul George is really going to force the Clippers' hand and make them offer that max contract. And if they're not, and the Sixers are, is he going to leave for the money and come here as opposed to...
I believe he is.
Stay home. Yeah.
It's from what I'm hearing. But I think they might end up folding and keep that big three together, which might be better for us. I don't know if I want to give him that many years. 35, and he's already breaking down, So
yeah. And that's why I see people like, well, it's at the very least, he's a better... Tobias Harris. I'm like, well, we weren't good enough to get past the second round with Tobias Harris. We need something better than, obviously Paul George is better than Tobias Harris. I'm just saying you're talking about a guy who's older who could break down and maybe not even be available come the playoff time, and you're offering him a lot of money for a couple years. And the guys that are going to be playing next to him, and Embiid's 30, 31, he's right in that area, and then Maxi's a young guy. You don't want some guy who you might not be available or might be available. I don't know. I've cooled off on the hatred or the anti for this Paul George move of recent. I just because I think it's the most realistic possibility, and I think we could still get better with around him. I'm not in love with it, but I think Ty, if we really the way we've discussed it, and we've both talked about this, how it's easier to go get one of these stars than it is to go and align Embiid and Maxey with a bunch of elite role players or just all guys who kind of do this or do that, wings who play defense. We've been looking for that for 6-7 years now, and we've been yet to be able to find guys that we really trust. I mean, Oubre is the closest to a wing guy that we kind of signed off the scrap heap that we actually got got good minutes out of for large portions. So Shams is saying the league-wide belief is that George would remain in Los Angeles, notwithstanding the absence of a lucrative extension between both parties at the end of the season. So there's a lot of going back and forth here that people, Kawhi Leonard signed a max extension. James Harden is going to try and get a new contract there. They're trying to kind of not spend all that money on Paul George, so maybe that's the area where you could maybe sneak in there and get something for him. I really wish Siakam was available. That's the guy I think would be perfect. And next to these two guys, he can rebound, he can score when you need him to. He kind of could just do all the other stuff that we really wanted Tobias to do in those other seasons. Another thing, Ty, Maxey did not make the All-NBA team, so that's going to lessen that extension, the lucrativeness of that extension. So that is a positive for us, not a positive for him. He's probably pissed. What the fuck? What could have been for him? Good.
I was gonna say, if it wasn't for Halliburton having that one great month at the beginning of the year, I think there's a good chance that Maxey does get it. But good for us that he doesn't. He's still gonna get money, so I'm not. I don't feel too bad, but it does kind of suck.
Yeah. So I guess it's just kind of gonna. It's just a lot of balls are left up in the air right now, and we're just waiting to figure out. Yeah, it's just gonna kind of. It seems like the NBA free agency is kind of like musical chairs. You're just gonna kind of hope that there's a chair left for you to, be able to keep playing the game and maybe get lucky in getting one of these guys. As more time has gone on, I don't think Jimmy Butler's going anywhere. Maybe Donovan Mitchell gets traded, but I don't think the Sixers are going to have the ammo to trade for someone like that unless it's maybe part of a 3-team deal. Maybe that's how you would get a Jimmy Butler if he was to end up heading down to Miami, and maybe we get Jimmy Butler and then send Picks and Hero or whoever the fuck to Cleveland. Maybe that's how something like that could happen. I don't know, Ty. LeBron is obviously still the one. I think that's the one me and you have identified as the one we would want the most, but we don't really think that that's a realistic possibility. I haven't heard anything otherwise that he might be available or seeking meetings or anything like that. It's just kind of really up in the air. LeBron, maybe you go out and draft Bronny then and give yourself a chance, and then fuck yourself if he doesn't come here and he kind of just says, that just kind of uses his leverage to get his son drafted pretty high, get a pretty good contract, and then you're stuck. I probably would head down the New Jersey expressways to head down to Delaware to watch the 87ers when Bronny is starring for them and throwing passes to Jahlil Okafor. So
very good.
That's it, though. Right now, there's really no rumors, and we're going to have to wait a couple of months and wait for the NBA playoffs to kind of wrap up before we get anything serious. How are you enjoying the NBA playoffs? I mean, the Eastern Conference. Love seeing the Knicks go down. I thought that was incredible. Tough break for Jalen Brunson to break his hand, but I am not going to lose sleep or shed tears over anything bad happening to the New York Knicks. Obviously, don't want him to get hurt, but it's the end of the season. It's not a horrifying injury. It's just kind of one of them things where he's just going to have to recover, maybe get a surgery or something like that. But the Knicks fall short. They kind of melt down against the Pacers. Ha ha, bums. Don't care. Losers. You fell short. Yeah, bing bong. Fucking idiots. So there you go. Thanks for coming, New York Knicks. Now you know what it's like to be a Philadelphia 76ers fan. And the West. I'm going to be rooting for whoever comes out of the West to win the NBA Finals. Maybe it looks like the Mavericks. Your boy, Ant Edwards has a hint of a bad game, and people are posting pictures of him working at Chipotle. So it just goes to show you it's really tough to be in the limelight in the NBA. I mean, really didn't even have that bad of a game. He almost had a triple-double, but that's just kind of that's the NBA scene. That's the 12-year-olds with SGA AVIs sending pictures out of that, and you trying to get clout and clicks and all that good stuff that Elon Musk has turned Twitter into. So, what a great time to be alive, Ty. Really is. I never feel more of an old man than when I'm on Twitter nowadays, looking at all this bullshit and nonsense that's on there all the time. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Shoulder Strikes MMA podcast brought to you by the Hot Take Hot Box. My name is Matt McSweeney.
I am Sally Capone.
And as always, make sure, do not let your wife take private lessons in jiu-jitsu.